We are on. Okay, take number four. Take number four. I'm gonna have to talk semi fast because the sun is going down and I don't want to be sitting in the dark. So this topic really again for the fourth time for myself um is about my title for the talk is Stop Playing with Your Life 2024. But really I think the title, after doing some reflection, it should be like stop making yourself small and palatable for other people, 2024 and beyond. So if you can relate, stay tuned because I think this might be a juicy and hopefully helpful conversation to someone else who may struggle with making themselves small or making themselves palatable or being around people that don't allow you to grow. And I think this can relate to a lot of people could relate to maybe wanting to change. You have goals. So new year, you have goals, or you should, to me, in my not so humble opinion, you should always be working towards something in your life, so that you're not stagnant. It doesn't have to be in the beginning of the year. It can be in the middle of the year. It could be the end of the year. It could be some a leap year. I don't know. But you should always be working towards something so that you're not stagnant. But sometimes when we want to work towards like a bigger goal or a bigger opportunity, it takes us taking ourselves out of the environment that we are currently in, or, um, yeah, there we go, the environment that we're currently in. And sometimes you want to share your accomplishments or you want to share what it is that you want to work with, what you want to work on, but you know that the people that you have around you may not be the folks you should be sharing the information with on some level, because you're always going to be that fill in the blank to that person. Um, Unless that person is like, okay, that's cool, I support you, but it almost seems like in today's society, we don't really have people that are really encouraging one another as much as we think. Like it's easy to get on the internet and see people cheering you on, but it's never really the folks that you know closely, even if you are that person to people in your immediate life. Sometimes, or a lot of the times, it depends. I don't know what your situation is, but sometimes those same people that you're rooting on are always showing up for, and it's not really returned. So, 2024, it's really, I think, a year to pour into yourself and really examine what it is that you want, because your actions may not be lining up with your desires. And it's because you don't want to get outside of your comfort zone. Um, at least for me, I'm speaking when I say you, I'm really mean me. It's not anything that I wouldn't say to myself, or it's not anything that I'm not also experiencing. Um, but really just like reflecting on things that I could be doing better. So I want to share, maybe it could also, or these things can also help you. Um, and something that I've always done and I will always continue to do is plan out my year. But this year in particular, I always plan in October, November. My birthday's in November. I think it just makes sense to plan your birthday month. Like if you're born in July, you do July through next July. That's what works for me. Some people start in January, which is fine. Um, but what I'm making different for this year is really like getting as detailed as possible, which I've never done before. Like I've just written down goals. Maybe I'll choose a quarter, but like, okay, I'm gonna try to do this quarter. Oh, it didn't happen. Okay, no problem, and then move on. Which to me is kind of problematic if you are someone who's actually trying to achieve, and you're not just going through the motions of writing down a goal because you're supposed to, or writing down a goal because you're pressured to. or writing down a goal because it's not really your goal, it's someone else's desire for you, what you want or what they want for you and not what you want for yourself. Um, so how I'm going about this, outside of being more detailed, I have a calendar. Maybe you can see, and if you're listening, it's a huge, like, very cost efficient calendar. I thought I was gonna have to pay $30,000 for a calendar at Staples and something or Office Depot. Something said look over, and I found this calendar for $5. The same thing. It's just not as pretty as the other ones. So I have this huge calendar on to my right. Then I have a planner um, on my coffee table where I'm sitting, which breaks down your goals quarterly, and then it does monthly, and then it does weekly, and then it does daily. And I'm really trying to get into the habit of the quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily grind. And I think because I am someone who likes to do 12,000 things at one time, this has forced me to be more intentional about how I'm spending my time, where I'm putting my time, my effort into, and why I'm doing it. So almost the end of January, and I want to say that I have accomplished a lot more in the month of January alone by being able to think about my goals quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily. But I'm still like overpacking my schedule, which is something I'm working on for the rest of the months. But I also know that sometimes you have to go out the gate kind of running or like fighting. I don't know. I don't want to put it like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say. You have to like really put a lot of emphasis into jam packing your beginning of the first quarter sometimes so that your second, third, and fourth can be a lot smoother. Um, so yeah, that's one thing that I'm doing. The next thing that I'm doing is trying to like, I'm grateful for my friends. So if my friends are listening or watching, I'm not saying that you're not great at all. But really trying to switch up my friend circle or expand my circle of friends. I think since moving, I used to, for those that are listening and don't know me, I used to live in California. I moved to Nevada almost 3 years ago and have been kind of like, I hate it here for the 3 years pretty much. But California at the moment is out of my budget. At this moment, it won't be forever, but it's a little out of my budget for now. Um, I live in Las Vegas. People here can be a little strange. They're a little different than what I'm used to. It's a very transient city. Um, it's not impossible to find people that you're in alignment with, but it takes a lot longer. Maybe it could just be like a post panorama, post Panera Bread, if you get what I'm saying, type of thing where folks are not really wanting to talk to each other as much. And I'm already a very introverted person, so it's making it a lot harder. And I work from home, which makes it even harder to um to connect with people, but I really want to get out of my comfort zone. So I just looked up some like annual events that happen here, business wise or things that I'm interested in. I'm gonna start doing going out and doing those things. Um, at least trying to make an effort. I go to the gym a lot. I'm not trying to high five or talk to a lot of people when I'm lifting weights. However, I can like give more effort to be friendlier, but I also have this feeling like personally, as a black woman, personally, I think that we're expected to always be friendly or like give people high fives or like, you know, not inconvenience and not look like we're mean because we already get that stereotype of being mean and angry. And I don't really care, like, but it also is not something that is helping me in making friends. So I need to like learn how to be less awkward, I guess. Um, The next thing that I'm doing for myself is really recognizing, I don't know, it's like when I'm shooting myself in the foot, but also like recognizing where I'm spending my time and why. And I think when people talk about, oh, managing your time, you need to manage your time, get a calendar, get a planner, get a digital calendar, use ChatGPT to schedule your day. And it's like, okay, that's cool. However, um, we don't talk about wasting time in terms of like ruminating thoughts. I feel like I ruminate a lot or I overanalyze a lot. And I've always been this way. Could be that I'm an anxious person. I don't know. Um, Scrolling too much, like spending too much time on one task instead of saying I'm gonna get this done. Learning Pinterest, I'm gonna learn it. I have to learn it all at once instead of like breaking it down and learning it in bite-sized pieces. So really like really trying to examine my own energy and why it is I'm doing the things I'm doing, but not beating myself up over it and being proactive to be like, okay, now let I now notice I'm doing this, let me redirect instead of being like, check, you should have did this, you should have did that, blah blah blah. The next thing that I'm gonna work on for myself that may be helpful for you is just more like energetic cleansing. As someone who I say that I'm introverted. Um, I am. I'm more quiet, but it doesn't has not stopped me from like gaining relationships and like gaining business. I do offer Reiki as a service. I also teach yoga and now it will be personal training. Um, but with that, just coming in contact with a lot of people and things are always heavy, it seems these days. Really taking the time out to nurture myself. So my space, making sure that my space is always like clean or at least doing something to sweep, burning incense, um, keeping the windows open during the day so that light can come in, opening the doors so that air can come in. Um, just really keeping my space uplifted, but also taking the time out to do like more spiritual cleansing, spiritual baths, smudging myself down, um, being mindful of what I'm consuming in terms of not only food but like media. I think sometimes once you watch like one thing that's considered negative, it seems like you always are bombarded with just that one negative thing just grows. So like if I notice anything on YouTube or Instagram, I'm not a huge TikTok person, but I have to be on TikTok, or I think I should be for growing business, of course. Um, I don't really watch TV. I don't have a TV in my house. I'm not a Hulu, Netflix person at all. Um, I might be, I kind of live under a rock a little bit. Listen to a lot of music though, so being mindful of what I'm consuming musically. Um, so maybe this is something that will help you, is just being more mindful of how you're putting your, where you're putting your energy and what is taking your energy. Where are you putting your energy and what is taking your energy? And I think that will change a lot for 2024 and beyond. Um, the next thing is just letting go of past versions of myself. Um, I always say that I'm introverted, and maybe that's not always the case. So, not leading with that, but just allowing myself to grow out of. I don't think you grow out of introversion. I don't think there's anything wrong with being introverted. But I think not putting myself out there has caused me to miss out on certain opportunities that maybe I would have gotten if I had like spoken up a little more. And I want to go into like a tangent of like, even if you speak up as someone who is more soft spoken, people still kind of ignore you. At least that's been my case, but I don't know. Maybe you have a different perspective of that. So letting go of different versions of yourself and allowing yourself to be or to grow into a new version of you. So let's shedding those layers. And then recognizing what you need to let go of in order to grow. I think I need to let go of this couch because it's too comfortable, and this is where I do my work. I'm out here telling people they need to move their bodies more. I move my body and then I go and sit down on the couch, and that's problematic for me. Um, but letting go of, or at least recognizing when you need to let things go in order to move forward as a person, in order to grow into the person that you want to be. Very important to me, anyways. Um, but also not beating yourself up in the process of feeling that you need to be a certain place to do certain things in order to be who you want to be. I think it's easy to compare yourself to other folks, and I'm not saying that that's what I do all the time. However, I think that's a normal thing that people do, to look to their left and look to their right and be like, okay, this person's been doing they've been teaching yoga for 1 year and they have a million followers on their YouTube page, and I've been teaching yoga for 3 years and I have two people that show up too. Trying not to be that person of like looking around, as I also think that's another way that you miss your blessings, is not being grateful. So showing more gratitude in 2024. Um, but yeah, I think this was the podcast. Potentially, maybe I got my thoughts across, maybe I didn't. Something that I'm working on. I need to go to like a Toastmasters so that things are more clear, or that I feel that things are more clear. And maybe I am communicating clearly, but I'm over analyzing the things that I'm saying because I feel like I'm not saying them clear enough. Uh yeah. So 2024, you getting out of your own way, I think will really help you move forward into the person that you want to be and potentially the person that you need to be. You playing small can really hinder someone else not being able to grow, which is another thing that um, I've been thinking about. It's like, well, if I don't do X, Y, and Z, one, someone else is gonna hop into that space that was supposed to be for you, right? Or someone else around you may not even be able to be their fuller versions of themselves because you are not, which is a very interesting thought. Yeah. So I will end this here as I look into everywhere except for the camera. I will end this here, and you can let me know what you're thinking about 2024. What is the year? What does 2024 mean to you? Is it a new year, new me? Is it a what the heck was I doing in the previous years and now I'm here and I need to scramble to get things done? Is it a combination of both? Is it neither? I'd like to know.